What's up, everybody? Brian from Frugal Footprint. It's Memorial Day weekend, so it's time to get all of our garden beds ready for the 2019 growing season. As you can see right now, it's quite the mess. So we have a lot of work to do. Just wanted to say, hey, we're gonna be back with a bunch of videos this season. So stay tuned, let's get to it. It's time to add some compost to our beds, see if we can get some nutrients back in the soil. All right, so we're gonna take our compost and turn it into the soil over here. All right, wash, rinse, repeat. We're gonna do the same thing over on this one. So this year in this bed, this is behind our shed, and this faces south. So it gets really warm over here. We're gonna do a couple tomato plants and some kale. So a few years back, we did kale over here. Bless you. We did kale over on this side and it just went crazy. It was well into December, it had already snowed, and we were still just getting these amazing, huge pieces of kale off the plant. So we wanna try that again this year. Last year we tried potatoes, they didn't turn out all that well over on this side. So yeah, tomatoes love full sun and heat, and apparently kale does too. All right, so we just got back from the garden store and we picked up our pepper plants. We got kale and some onion starters and all of that. We also picked up guano. So we're gonna mix this into the soil, get some extra nitrogen in there. These pepper starters are $2 or $3 a piece, and a pepper in the store is about $2 or $3 a piece, and from each one of these plants we found that we get dozens of peppers. Let's mix in the bat guano in with the compost and get planted. All right, so that was about $20 worth of pepper plants and maybe 3 minutes of work. All right, next up is our other full sun bed on the other side of the shed. We're gonna mix in the guano, and then we're gonna be planting kale and tomatoes, and depending on space, maybe a couple other things. Again, just a few minutes of work. It's just a really great day. It's nice to be outside, playing in the dirt, and making something real happen. I encourage you to get out there and do it. All right, so here we have our Swiss chard, kale plants, and a couple of tomatoes, and Kate. All right, it's day 2, and we are gonna attack this huge mess of a garden. It's full of weeds and full of creeping Charlie, and we just wanna get it weeded and looking nice, get the soil prep. Let's get to it. So check this out. I was just weeding this bed and I reached down to grab a clump of weeds and I heard a squeak sound, and there's actually a nest of baby bunnies here. So there's 2 of them down in there and they look like they're okay, but I'm a little worried that since I already disturbed the nest, that maybe the mom won't come back and take care of them. So we called the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center and they said just leave the nest where it's at. We can kind of plant with the rest of the garden, but they said bunnies only need care from their mothers for about 3 weeks. So at most it'll be a couple weeks and the mom should keep coming back. They said we'll never see her. She comes at dawn and dusk. So we're just gonna plant the rest of the bed with what we want and leave the nest kind of intact as we can and just hope for the best. Okay, we got most of the weeds out of all of these. Have some repair work to do on this one, that just broke. But we got all the creeping Charlie out of the beds. It's time to get planting. So we're trying something new this year. In the past we tried growing onions from seed, and the growing season in Minnesota just isn't quite long enough for us to get big onions from our harvest from seed. So you can try growing them yourself inside before the snow melts, which is what the garden store did. So we didn't grow them ourselves from seed. We did pick up this pack of onions. There's probably 40 of them in here. It was $3. What we're gonna do is soak this in water, and then we can pick apart the onions almost like if it were fine hair. So we don't want to use scissors or anything because we'll end up cutting the roots, and we're just gonna soak them so that way we can loosen up the soil and then we can plant them individually in rows. All right, we'll just start with that to get the soil loosened up and we'll be back in a minute. All right, so these onions have been soaking for 10-15 minutes. We're gonna do them in 2 rows along here, and luckily this is the bed that has the baby bunnies in it, and they said that bunnies will not eat onions. So we shouldn't have any problems with these bunnies growing up and eating our garden. So I'm gonna pick these apart and get them in the ground. All right, so we ended up with 42 onions, which of course is the answer to life in the universe and, well, everything. So wish us luck for a big onion harvest this year. All right, so now we have everything in the ground. We have some lettuces, we have the peas and cucumbers and basil in there. There's all of our onions in that one, plus some more greens. Back in the corner here, we have more onions. Potatoes haven't gone in yet, but they're gonna go there. We have zucchini, some more greens. Fairy garden is not done yet. Then of course behind the shed and the garage we have our peppers and our strawberries, our kale, our chard, our tomatoes. We have pretty much everything in the ground. So just want to say happy Memorial Day weekend. We're supposed to get a bunch of rain here tomorrow, so luckily we got all the work done before that. Really got out and enjoyed this beautiful day. Go ahead, hit the like button, let me know what you think in the comments, and subscribe for updates. Like I said, we're gonna have some more videos coming this year. So until then, take care.